Hey everybody, how's it going? Stwida here. Today we're doing a roster review. It's actually the same day as the GAC I recorded, but I guess you couldn't possibly know that. But the hoodie is off, the robe is on. It may as well be a different day as far as you're concerned. BlackHammer. BlackHammer is someone I talk to on Discord from time to time. He's a bit like me. He's a whale. His account is young. But his account is big because his wallet is big. So we have that in common. So I'm anticipating, well, he asked for a roster review. That's what we're doing today. That's why we're here. I'm anticipating that he's probably going to have some of the same problems that I have, probably the same bottlenecks that I have, because clearly he's not shy to spending. He's been playing for about 2.5 years, so he's got about 6 months on me. I anticipate, seeing that kind of shake out in certain parts of his roster. But without further ado, let's just get into this. And we're gonna kind of do this off the cuff. So right away, the first thing that I am noticing is there are some R9s kind of sprinkled in here. And maybe there's some rhyme or reason. I'm seeing some patterns. But one is jumping out at me. Hondo, what's up? Is he like your favorite? Is he for a platoon? I would be very curious, and eager to understand if this was like the first mistake you ever made. What's going on with Hondo, my dude? Obviously like Malik, that's a Leviathan requirement. I'm not going to get on you for that. However, there are some other things going on here in terms of relics that I would want to point out. So I see, for example, a Relic 9 Crew. I see a Relic 9 Balin. I see a Relic 9 DTMG. I see a Relic 9 Cursantin. These R9s have a lot in common. Relic 9 Malgus. And that is that they're tanks. And I don't know if that was deliberate. Because tanks do benefit quite a bit from Relic 9 because they get a big chunk of extra protection. However, you seem like you're comfortable giving people Relic 9, and so in the future, I'm assuming you're going to give more people Relic 9. I would be careful with how you distribute those resources. None of these are like, wow, that's the worst decision I've ever seen. But the question that you need to ask yourself is, does taking these characters to higher relics, but very specifically Relic 9, fundamentally change the statistical likelihood of the outcomes of their matches, right? And so I have dealt with other people who have taken their Balin to Relic 9, for example. And I'm sure somewhere there's some matchup that might have worked, except now he's just too damn tanky. Maybe there's one. But to my knowledge, everything that counters Balin counters him, whether he's Relic 9 or Relic 7, or maybe even Relic 5, right? Like, I see people take Balin against Rey. I see people take a Relic 9 Balin against Rey, and he still dies after the second Whirlwind. All right? Well, my Relic 5 Balin dies after the second Whirlwind. And so that's a prime example of you took him there, and he gained nothing, right? That's a very specific scenario, but I would say think of that when you're taking these characters to Relic 9. If you end up, talking to me and you say, yeah, all of these are like platoon things, I'll say, all right, fine, whatever. And forgive me, I suck at Rise of the Empire. So DTMG, like, he might not even be in a platoon. I don't think he is. And obviously Balin's not. But the point still stands. Right now, the only thing I can assume is that you understand that tanks gain a lot from going to Relic 9 in terms of raw stats. But again, I would challenge you to consider, do the outcomes of their battles change? Does increasing their relics actually, cause them to get substantially more holds, or does it allow them to beat teams that they otherwise weren't going to beat? Just earlier, I did this with Seer, Malicos, and Starkiller, looking at them against the new Lord Vader team. And at Relic 7, they have a 53% win rate. At Relic 9, they have an 83% 1% win rate, right? And so am I saying take your Star Killer and your Malicos to Relic 9? Yes. No. But that's an example of, you know what? I've got some data that says if you bump them from Relic 7 to Relic 9, you're going to get an increased win percentage of plus 30%, right? As opposed to, did taking your DTMG to Relic 9 increase his hold rate by 1%? Did it increase it at all? Does it stop any of the counters? So think of that. On the flip side, just to let you know that I'm not just completely whining at you, there are cases where I say, you know what, there's multiple uses and I see this being beneficial. Malgus does damage based on his max health. As much max health as you can get him, sure, take him to Relic 9, get him some more max health. His dunks are going to hurt. A Relic 9 Cursantin, it's a big deal. Someone might not think it's a big deal, but a well-modded Relic 9 Cursantin can be the difference between a timeout on Jabba versus just breezing through Jabba. So I can totally get on board with like a Relic 9 Cursantin. You've got the Poncho Bros at Relic 9. That's great. They have an assault battle. That's fine. And then I would specifically call out, you've got the new Dark Side clones for Lord Vader at Relic 9. That's another example of that's a really good decision, right? Because Lord Vader's entire shtick is ramping based on his team's relics. Okay, this directly correlates to performance on the Lord Vader team. So I can totally get behind every single clone going to Relic 9. Maybe that's aggressive, but I think you get the idea. Don't be so liberal with your relics, because I think there are very specific locations in this game that you can apply those relics where they're going to get you more use. Like your Marok. Marok attackers get so much from going from Relic 7 to Relic 8. In Marok on the Balin team, he assists so much. That extra damage is such a big deal. I literally would rather see your Balin at Relic 8 and your Marok at Relic 8 than your Balin at Relic 9 and your Marok at Relic 7. So I'll stop calling out specific individuals, and I will just say, careful with your relics. Take your Lord Vader Relic 9. Suck this out of Balin and put it into Lord Vader. Or DTMG. I like Balin more than DTMG. All right, enough about relics. All right, I did a cut there, but I want to do this live just so you can see how I kind of move through rosters. So I'm just going to sort by speed here. So you've got a fast slicker. Okay, good. And it's with a speed set, so you're going for speed. That's great. You took him to Relic 8. The offense looks good. The health looks good. I'm so sorry. I told you I was going to do this. I was going to have to squeeze it in. It's like midnight right now. I'm good with that. Lord Vader, nice and fast, decent health, decent protection, decent offense. Yep, I'm not mad at that. JML, he better have 160,000 prot. Okay, I'll take 152. I won't give you too much crap for that. It's people who don't give him any prot that give me an aneurysm. That's perfectly fine. And he's Relic 9. That's a good R9 contender. Don't you dare take your job at a Relic 9. I'll punch you in the mouth. Rey. Good. This is how I would mod Rey. Might be a little difficult. I'm going to compare this to my Rey because my Rey is also Relic 8. Try to get a little bit more speed in there. I can't say for sure that's going to absolutely change matchups, or more offense. My Rey is at about 12,100. I know you can squeeze some more offense there, and in my opinion, Rey really cares. You can only have two. You can only have two of the three on Rey. You can have a ton of health, a ton of speed, a ton of damage. You pick two of those, and the third one always ends up suffering. That's just all there is to it, just because of the secondaries and whatnot. So I like your health. That's a lot of health. That's really good health. And as a matter of fact, yeah, this is why. So you've got health on everything, so that's why. So you traded some health for what I decided for offense. I think I have an offense cross. That's fine, but like I said, either get the speed up a little bit. I'd like to see this closer to like 520, or get the physical offense up. I'd like to see that closer to 12,000 because she's Ray is a menace. Ray deserves it, and Ray would deserve Relic 9 too, by the way. Sith Eternal, what do you got? That's enough health. You could have... 1 second. I didn't realize how tired I was. I'm sorry, dude. You could probably squeeze in a little bit more speed there, but, you know, Sith Eternal, who cares about Sith Eternal, really? Luthen. How fast is your Luthen? 375, my guy. I hate you. That's fantastic. Good for you. I would hate to have to deal with your Luthen. What's your cat at? 351. Good. Your modding is... I'm thinking it's on point at this point. What are we looking at on Chieftain? 313. That's a zoomy Chieftain. How far are we going to go? Okay, Jocasta. We're at about 300 right there. So we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got about 40 characters above 300 speed that are non-GLs. I'd say you're doing pretty good. I'm 6 months behind you, and I'm on about 30, and I care way too much. You clearly know what you're doing on mods. I'm not going to go from character to character and nitpick and say, your Reva should have offense instead of da-da-da-da. I'm not going to do that to you. You know what you're doing. I'm not going to give you too much feedback there. However, let's do this real quick. One thing I like to do is I like to see how fast the speed or how hard the speed drops off as you get away from the very top of the roster. So I'm just going to go. So if Jocasta's 300, you're good at this. I'm going to guess your Bo-Katan is maybe 280 at worst. Let me see if I'm right. 288. Okay. So your speed isn't dropping off that much. It's not dropping off that hard. Gas is at 270. Let's go a couple more rows down. Cara Dune 254. All right, so now we're getting into the part of the roster where, you know, there might not be so much love. That's okay. I think you're doing about as well as you could, you know, considering your time played. The only advice I have here, stick to it. Don't give up on the mods. The mods won't give up on you if you don't give up on them. So keep going on your mods. All right, I mean, looking at Datacrons, I'm going to go ahead and assume that you took a bunch to Relic 9, and this is, or not Relic 9, Level 9, and this is just where you kind of ended up. You got 3 Luthens here, or Saw. You got 3 Saws here, you got 3 Talons here. I'm assuming you're just using the other ones for stats, and you actually have, you know, like 1 for Talon. What? The Krons, Jesus, man. Your Krons are fine. Why are you asking for a roster review? You just want me to tell you I like your roster. This is good. This is fine. You've got a perfectly adequate amount of Krons. This set has only been out once. And you got all these level 9s. You're good. Maybe consider the focus Datacrons, but you're doing kind of what I did. You got this part, which is like all mission cares about, and you're using that Omicron in 3v3. Let's look at your ships. Are you missing? These yawns are deadly. These yawns last like 10 seconds. Yo, 5-star Executor, get that up. I know it's expensive to whale on. It's probably the last ship that you got. Don't put that on defense. IMO. Don't put that on defense. This is interesting. Get your Radis up. What's going on? That's like a staple on defense, and it's not too bad on offense either if you come up against like a Malevolence or something. I mean, clearly you're doing fine. I'm not gonna be like, wow, you suck. You're level 1 Radis, but man, come on. If you were gonna level 1 something, let me see that level 1 home 1. Radis ain't that bad. Get that Star Fortress, and yeah, I guess here's a tip for you. Nobody knows the future of this game, but CG has a tendency to do some wacky crap. Don't think that this isn't going to bite you. There's going to be a day where CG just wakes up and they tell their intern that TIE Reaper needs to be better. And all of a sudden, that crappy TIE Reaper that you thought you would never need is suddenly the best ship in the game because CG decided that they just wanted it to be that way. You're basically not missing anything else. Just make it a priority. Farm the ships that you're missing. Get it done. We all know ships suck, but just get it done. I'm gonna assume you have everything maxed that you could possibly have. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We had this conversation earlier. All right. Get your profundity. That's all there is to it. What's up with that? Huh? What's up with that? What's up? You Relic 9 DTMG. Look at that sad fish man. You get that Radis to Relic 9, sir. Excuse me. You can beat Leviathans with profundity. I'm going to give you crap for this one. You go get that. What are you working on right now? You're 11.5. You finish your journey guide. That's all I got for ships. You finish your journey guide. All right, so yeah, I mean, overall, I didn't realize. I mean, this is the roster. I just looked at your roster. We're kind of there. The modding is on point. Some of the relics I question. I talked about that. And I would just say, looking at this, right? So I've sorted by speed. We're back to the same view that we were at before. Think about, just like when I said, does giving Relic 9 to someone fundamentally change their matchups? I would pose the question to you, who needs the speed the most, right? Because, yeah, great. Ezra's fast, right? But, like, Ezra's going to cause you heartburn whether he's 370 or 350. Don't get me wrong. Keep your Ezra fast. Your Ezra is making people wish that they want to uninstall their game. But as my eyes are drawn downwards, I see someone down here and I see Resistance Hero Finn and I say, you know what? He could be a lot faster. And you might say, well, who cares, right? RHF going first is what does it for like the Finn Zori team on defense, right? And I mean, even on offense, it's just most people put them on defense. But like RHF is the naturally the fastest person on that team. He wants to go first. And so what I'm trying to say is RHF being blazing fast is arguably more important than, I don't know, Scout Trooper being blazing fast, or Seventh Sister being blazing fast, or Moff Gideon being blazing fast. I get it. Moff Gideon is naturally fast, but is he the one who deserves 366 speed, or does your Resistance Hero Finn maybe deserve the love? Echo is another prime example. Echo in 5v5, if you put Echo with Queen Amidala, if Echo goes before Great Mothers, well, not Great Mothers because they have the bonus turn, but if Echo goes before everyone else on the Night Sister team, and he puts his days out, which, by the way, is not resistible, so it's a big deal, Great Mothers no longer beats QA, right? So that's another example of getting a fast Echo if you put him on defense with Queen Amidala in 5v5. I care more about switch their mods, man. Take Seventh Sisters and put him on Echo instead so that he is as fast as she is right now. Because the Seventh Sister being, what is she? Let's see, 343. Does Seventh Sister being at 343 fundamentally change any of her matchups? Because I can tell you that Echo having all that extra speed, which, by the way, his base Echo has a really high base speed. I bet if you gave him your Seventh Sister mods, he would be at like 360. That is just going to stop the vast majority of Night Sister teams in 5v5. So, like, that's another example of you need Echo to get in front of everybody, and you need him to go first. So think about it with modding too. Mara Jade, I like it. You got a fast Mara Jade, 342. She could be faster, but I don't think she needs to be much faster than this. This is fast enough with, you know, if you're using Starkiller with her, she's going to have enough speed to go before everybody that she needs to go before. So just like with your relics, decide who really needs the relics. I would say think about that with your speed. Maybe if you're going to remod speed at some point, shuffle it around. Definitely get RHF a little bit faster. Definitely get Echo a lot faster because he can benefit from it. But yeah, man, overall good roster. I don't really have any complaints. I'll smack you across the internet for this profundity thing. Literally pivot. Like, I don't know what you're doing. You're probably going to finish your dark side clones, and honestly, I'm not going to give you crap for it, because they might carry you for the entire first season that they're out. So that's fine, but come on, man. Radis gets your next Relic 9. Not another tank, not some random somebody. You give it to Radis. All right, that's it. If you have any questions specifically, just hit me up on Discord. We talk all the time. Everyone else, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you want a roster review, leave it in a comment below. But these things, I tend to get flooded. And if you're a really low account, I'm basically just going to say farm Executor. If you don't have Executor, go farm Executor and get your ships in check. Whatever. I'm getting off course here. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. And specifically, BlackHammer, I hope you enjoyed this. And I will see you all next time.